The doctor who diagnosed her gave her just about 2 years to live.
And we took her on the boat, we took her river rafting, we took her everywhere.
The spine gets affected, it starts buckling and it starts rotating inside the body. I dance at home on my wheelchair,
Hi, welcome back to Deconstructing Accessibility. Today we have Monisha over here, and she's an architect, and she is talking about her daughter and her new book. So, hi, Monisha.
Hi, Monisha.
Hi, Zack, and hi, Anubha. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Could you tell me something about your daughter and what spinal muscular atrophy is?
So Zack, I have two daughters actually. However, my youngest daughter, Keya, was born with a rare genetic disorder called spinal muscular atrophy. And it is a condition where there is a, rapid nerve death owing to the lack of a, specific gene called SMN1. And because of the missing protein owing to this, gene not being there, the nerves, the neuron cells actually suffer from a rapid death. And that causes the disconnect between the signals sent from the brain to the muscles of different muscles of the body. And because the brain signals do not reach the muscles, there is an atrophy that takes place. So all the muscles land up atrophying, and that causes weakness, overall weakness, and it's a progressive condition. There is no known cure for spinal muscular atrophy, like 95% of other rare genetic disorders that exist in the world. But today, thanks to the scientific evolution, there are some known lines of treatment which helps to maintain the progression, arrest the progression as they call it. But again, these treatments are astronomically priced across the world.
What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about SMA that you have encountered?
So one of I think the biggest myth about rare genetic conditions is that the child or the individual who are suffering from them is not able to do anything in their lives, right? Which means that they need to be written off literally, from existence, which is actually a complete it's not incorrect. It's completely incorrect if I have to use the right words. In my own daughter's case, I have seen that, where the doctor who diagnosed her gave her just about 2 years to live. She has lived beyond. In spite of the progression of the disease, she's cognitively, very bright. She's an academic topper. She's a coder. She is an, excellent, hand and digitally trained artist. And today she's a nationally, acclaimed author. Yeah. Wow. So she can do a lot of things, which is what I have been exploring with her over, the last 13 years. So in spite of doors being shut, and when I say that, I mean, doors of schools, being shut on her, admissions not being granted. I started with, teaching her little things at home, and then she had to prove herself all the way, but she has. And today she is completely amongst those who are absolutely able-bodied and able-minded and proving herself.
So, Monisha, would you like to quote any incident or any experience around this?
There are so many, Anubha. So, I think the topmost on my mind is when Keya was, I think, in grade 3 or 4, when we were in Bangalore. I was working there. And there was a school sports drill, just like how you have in every school at the end of the year. And so the teacher announced in her class that, all the children who wanted to take part in the sports, it was a dance drill. Please come and list up. And Keya wanted to participate, though she was wheelchair bound. And the teacher said, how can you? Because you're wheelchair bound, right? So he went and told the teacher that, ma'am, I dance at home on my wheelchair, that's how we party in the house.
Yeah.
So if I can do that at home with my family, I'm sure I'll be able to do something, along with the other children. It's just that, you'll have to let me do it. And the teacher was very, very confused. And, she didn't want to say flat no. So she called me over and she said, ma'am, it's very difficult for us to say no to Keya, but, you can understand it's not going to be easy. But then we went on. Instead of, me agreeing with the teacher, I disagreed with her. I went on and convinced the vice principal of the school. And I took part with her in all the dance sessions, practice sessions. And finally, she did take part in that sports drill, dancing on her wheels. And we got a massive standing ovation for her attempt, So she did whatever best she could. And I think that's the way we have, in general, led our lives. So we never take no easily.
Mhm. You know what?
And
You
that's
never
how
should. You never
yeah,
should. I
I
mean,
don't think anybody should. Anybody should. Yeah.
my mother
So
has
unless,
multiple sclerosis, and all her life she's been told, you can't do this, you can't go there, and you can't, go on the boat, you can't do that. And we took her on the boat, we took her river rafting, we took her everywhere that, people said you can't
exactly,
do it. Because
exactly.
people are so small minded, they never see that, just because they have some kind of disability doesn't mean that, they can't do it, or they don't
So
want to do it.
one thing I have learned, Zach, is that disability is not in the person who has it. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually the attitude of the people outside them, right? It's the attitude with which, an outsider meets a person with some form of disability in their body. And I think it's a societal mindset. If you ask me honestly, we
Yes.
at large are not geared to accept people who have different abilities. And that's the fact of it. I think that's where the mindset needs to shift and change. So, no is the way to go till
Yeah.
then, till we have
The,
full acceptance.
the
Yeah,
social disability, huh? Yeah.
Do you
absolutely.
want to share anything on your journey of acceptance with your daughter? Like, how was that?
I never had a single moment, Anuba, of non-acceptance. If I had to, be very honest with you. So yes, it did for other members in my
Yeah.
family. Especially the one that I had married into, and they had a lot of difficulty coping with acceptance. And because they couldn't, they left the scene, and I'm totally okay with that because you can't change anybody's mindset, right? So either they have a positive mindset, or they don't have it, right? And it's always better to be surrounded by, I think, people who are positive and more accepting than those who are not, because that's an energy drain, if you ask me.
Yeah, yeah. No, true. No, last week we were talking about this, how, like, so many people have, even my family have grandparents or parents who are like disapproving of their children just because they have a disability, and they don't let them go out and do all the things they want to do. And
Right.
amazing seeing you like not being like that. I mean, so many people don't go out of their houses just because of this, and
Mm.
it's really
Isn't it
sad.
sad?
It's
Isn't it
really
sad?
sad.
It's really sad. I think I don't feel sad for the people who feel negative about this whole concept of accepting anybody who's differently abled. I feel actually sad for the people who are living with the challenge that they don't get to experience life the way that they should because of people not supporting them.
Oh, I want to talk about Keya, like what made her write the book possible, and like what does she want people to take away from it?
So we actually moved from Bangalore to Bombay, about 2.5 years back, and that was primarily to get Kea's spine correction surgery done. And in this condition of spinal muscular atrophy, what happens is because of the muscular degeneration, the spine gets affected. It starts buckling and it starts rotating inside the body at a very young age. And Keya was having that condition where, her spine had started not just buckling, but also rotating, compressing her lungs from inside. So when we got the surgery done, that was the time I had to get her off the, offline school atmosphere into an online school. And in the online school where Keya is studying, she had an English teacher, and she said, "Ma'am, Keya speaks brilliantly. She even writes very well. Why don't you, register her for this book writing competition that is taking place across, several schools across India. It's a national level competition." So that's when she wrote her first book, lying down on the hospital bed we had rented, where she used to spend most of her time reclining because she was not able to sit. And she published her first book, Dancing on My Wheels. And it was a very sweet story, exactly about the sports day dance drill that I mentioned a while ago, because that's like the highlight event in her life too. And the book did very well. It went on to actually, it got picked up by not just friends and family, their friends and family, and their friends and family. And, it sold, I think, close to, I think over 1,000 copies in less than a month. It was a very quick way that, it found its way to a lot of people and touched hearts.
Yeah.
And, Keya ended up getting the National Bestseller Award for that book, and also the Best Entrepreneur Award. Okay, so something like that made her feel very big that time, I remember.
No, it is huge.
And this, yeah, it was you. And suddenly she was like, Mom, I can do this. And, so the same competition repeats every year. The next one that she, registered for, she said, Mom, I have to write a better book this time. So that's how she wrote about I Am Possible. And I Am Possible is about all the experiences I think that our life has had. So she's highlighted her journey and my journey over the last, I think, 13 years of her life, and focused on everything about her life that changed since she won the book award, and how people started accepting her and actually, started approaching her not with sympathy, but with that, with that feel that, yes, even you are capable of doing, something on your own, just like a normal child. And she didn't have to fight her way for this award. She just seamlessly went ahead, along with 2 lakh children who entered the competition. And nobody asked her whether she had a disability or whether she was medically ill or anything. She was just treated like one amongst the others. And I think that's the part that made her feel very, very normal for the first time.
Yeah.
And, the book actually reads I Am Possible because it started off with the word impossible for her. Her life and mind started with the word impossible, and how she, experienced all these little, incidents in her life that we went through, barging through the doors that were shut, making it possible each time, right, for ourselves. And hence the book is called I Am Possible.
Hopefully some people feel comfortable to get out and express themselves like your daughter did. Thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe, and come back next week to watch another episode of Deconstructing Accessibility.